Episode 9 is said to be a film that will introduce a total of 8 new characters in this story by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one thing I will say that I am truly looking forward to seeing in this movie are, of course, the new characters, because one of the characters that I'm really looking forward to seeing is, of course, the new villain that will be a part of the second and third acts of this film that will at one point in time make Kylo Ren feel vulnerable in this story. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film when it comes to some of the set leaks, the set designs, the concept art and storyboard descriptions, etc. One of which has all to do with the new villain dubbed as Vector Ritsu, and the backstory behind the character, at least partially. Now, specifically, what's really intriguing is that a description of one of the new villains standing in front of both Kylo Ren and Rey, where it's described to be the Vector Ritsu character. It said that he originated in the unknown regions and hundreds of years ago. Before entering the Beyond, he was once a part of a SIF Cult. The character is described to be around the same age as Supreme Leader Snoke, and learned new truths of the dark side of the Force that is considered to be more sinister than the dark side many fans are familiar with in the franchise. It's said that the Beyond is what made him the man he is during the events of the film by JJ. So I really want to go over a couple of parts about this. Now, this partial backstory to, of course, the new villain of Episode 9, Vector Ritsu, whether or not that's the actual name or a placeholder or a code name, if you will. But when we think about this character, we do know that Episode 9 is going to include a new threat/new villain in this film that's really going to split the fight between the Resistance and the First Order into something that's going to be taken directly from the EU. Now, in the EU, we did have a war that consisted of 3 different factions, and it seems as though that is exactly what J.J. Abrams is cherry-picking this whole entire idea from. So first things first, what I find very interesting is that apparently this actual villain originated in the unknown regions before entering the Beyond. So does that tell us right then and there that the Beyond is actually indeed not the unknown regions, but however something else entirely that will actually be introduced in Episode 9? Now, yes, we do know that the unknown regions will be featured in this film. However, it seems as though that the Beyond is not the actual unknown regions. So that's one thing, at this point in time, I think it's safe to say that we can cross the unknown regions off on the list, that it's actually not going to be the Beyond, quote unquote. Now, the other thing that does interest me a lot is that hundreds of years ago, before entering the Beyond, it's described that he was once a part of a Sith cult. Now, does that necessarily mean that he was once a Sith per se? However, what I find very intriguing is that this character is described to be in or around the age of Supreme Leader Snoke, around the same age. Now, we do know that Andy Serkis at one point in time said that Snoke is hundreds of years old, alright, close to 1,000 years old, so he's probably around the lines of 800 to 900 years old for the character of Snoke and this Vector character. So what I find very shocking, at least in my point of view, is that it's described that the Beyond is what made the character that he is today during the events of Episode 9 as he interacts with both Rey and Kylo Ren. Now, the Beyond, I don't know about you guys, but we actually heard about this a couple of weeks ago, is that it holds new truths to the dark side of the Force and a very specific power that can allow people to benefit both on the light side and the dark side of the Force. So, it's actually said that this version of the dark side is going to be more sinister than the dark side that many fans are familiar with in the franchise within the Skywalker saga. So, like I say, guys, I don't know about you, but this seems like it's really opening up the possibilities of a new Star Wars trilogy by the creators of Game of Thrones, and or Rian Johnson's new trilogy, or just maybe a new movie by some unknown director and or writer that will be handling just one movie only. So, with that being said, we do know that Episode 9 is going to be a film that's going to build towards something larger and more magical, and I believe that the Beyond is going to be used as something that's actually going to cater to a new Star Wars trilogy. Now, with that being said, what I find very interesting about this character, codenamed and or named Vector Ritsu, is that he was actually once a part of a Sith cult and originated in the unknown regions before traveling to the Beyond, which made him into the villain he is today during the events of Episode 9. So, this whole entire villain is actually going to reveal new truths about the dark side and to show us a version of the dark side that is going to pretty much, show us a more sinister and evil version of the dark side than we have ever seen before. So it's kind of like saying, if you thought Palpatine was pure evil, wait till you see this character in Episode 9. And that, I think, is something that I'm truly looking forward to seeing in this movie, to see exactly how J.J. Abrams is going to utilize all of this in this story. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.